Cars Mater National is what Cars 3 should have taken inspiration from. Not only did it have more of a story than both Cars 2 and Cars 3 had combined.
Oh yeah, nice new track, spotting booth for Mater, pits for Guido. It's gonna be awesome.
Pretty fancy track. You know what I had to practice on? Dirt.
But it had a pretty decent sized variety of events to choose from, as well as additional characters and an okay sized open world playground that you can drive around in. Welcome back to Socks and Sandals, and welcome back to the second to last episode of the Achievement HuntWhores Disney-Pixar Games Challenge. So today we are playing Cars Mater National Championship. We have now played Cars 1, 2, and 3, and that leaves Mater National and Cars Racerama left for the challenge. Mater National only has 16 achievements and boasts a 3 out of 10 on xboxachievements.org. The story of Mater National is, this is after Lightning McQueen won the first Piston Cup in the first movie. He's looking to create a training facility in Radiator Springs. He hosts a series of race events within Radiator Springs to draw in a crowd to the racetrack he's building in Radiator Springs. There's a whole slew of cars, some that, at least to my knowledge, weren't featured in any of the films or games following this one, so seems like a wasted opportunity there. But the mini games is where a vast majority of the achievements are gained, and the first achievement I actually got was hydraulics for completing all 7 levels of Ramone's Rhythmic Rumble. So I actually played this, got the achievement, and for whatever reason my capture didn't capture it properly. The file was corrupted. I ended up replaying it on a secondary account and doing it again in order to have the achievement pop. But what Ramone's Rhythmic Rumble is a very basic rhythm mini game. It's not any licensed music, it's just original tracks from the game, which I believe a majority of the tracks featured in this game were actually made in the first game. It's not Rock Band level or Guitar Hero level of a rhythm game. It's very basic. There's probably like 2 songs that getting 100% on, which isn't required for the achievement, but when I redid it to get the capture, basically every song I was able to do without failing, except maybe 2. But after each mini game you complete in its entirety, you will gain a sticker on Lightning McQueen. There is an achievement called Beat the Game to earn every sticker, beat every event, and collect every Bolt banner. Basically, what the stickers represent are achievements you unlocked, though it doesn't give you a sticker for each achievement you unlock, just basically for the mini games and significant races within the game. After that, I then got Stick It to McQueen, which is to complete Radiator Springs and unlocked Ornament Valley. So in order to complete Radiator Springs, you have to win the 3 races that are held in Radiator Springs. I believe it's 2 circuit races and then a relay race. But after you do that, you unlock Ornament Valley.
Hey, so anyway, stay tuned everybody, because this week is going to be supercharged.
Here you go, champ. That's for winning the race.
Gee, thanks, Lizzie.
And then you get this sticker that covers the back window of Lightning McQueen. It's just an RS. Basically, in order to gain the final achievement, I have to do everything anyways. So this is just gained for unlocking the new area, like it was in the first game. And once we got into Ornament Valley, I unlocked Rust Bust, which is to win the Rust Bucket Race Series. So the Rust Bucket Race Series is a lot like, I think it was called the Rust Bucket in the first game as well. It's held at the same track that was in the first game. You play as Mater again, except This time it's not like a demolition derby kind of race, because that one had, I think, 10 laps and the track was much shorter. This time it's only 3 laps, and I believe there are 3 races held at the Rust Bucket. The final race you do is, I can't remember her name, but she's a rally car from the UK, and the final race, Mater races her, and then once you win the race, there's this scene where Mater basically puts the swagger on this new car, but unfortunately you never see this car again, and according to the car's quote-unquote lore, Mater ends up with Holly Shiftwell. Anyways, yeah, seemed like, again, a wasted opportunity. I guess Mater's just got a thing for the British accent.
But he has to come watch me for legal reasons.
I see. Well, it's a shame. I've yet to see your wonderful town. Would you give me a tour?
Sure I will. I don't mean to brag, but I know all the best gas stations here in town.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's Flo's V8 Cafe, and we got, well, that's really the only gas station actually, but it's good.
Ah! Gold Star!
Right. Thanks, Lizzie.
After unlocking Rust Bust, I then unlocked Tailfin Pass, which is gained by completing Ornament Valley. The same thing with completing Radiator Springs. There are 3 races within Ornament Valley, 2 track races and a relay race, and then once you do that, you unlock Tailfin Pass.
No! Who are these guys? I think maybe we're in the wrong race.
Huh. Looks like there's a new guy in town.
The thing I noticed about the areas in Mater National, they are smaller than the areas from the first game. A lot of the roads, it's basically the same map from the first game, except a lot of the roads from the first game are just blocked off with do not enter signs. I was confused when I started playing because I thought once I played, those roads would become accessible like they were in the first game, but no, they remain locked. Though the areas in this one are more vibrant. There's a lot more going on. Like in Ornament Valley, there's an airport, there's the trailer area of the racetrack, there's an actual racetrack, there's a sort of park area, and then there's cars that are actually driving around in the areas. They kind of had to take a compromise with adding more going on. They made the area smaller. It is a 360, it's an early 360 title, so I can understand that. Certainly did more than Cars 3 did, and it's just NPCs, really. You'll see like the same NPC 4 or 5 times, but it adds life to it. If they were able to do that in 2007, then Avalanche Studios could have done that in 2014, at least for the Thomasville Playground, to give it something more than to just be an empty area to do a few challenges in, and then that's it. Like, they could have done so much more with Cars 3. So after that, I then unlocked Build Monster McQueen, which is to find all necessary parts to construct Monster McQueen. In Radiator Springs, there are 3 monster truck parts. There's a set of shocks, a set of tires, and then a new car horn for Lightning McQueen. Once you find all 3, you then go to Luigi and he installs all the parts and you unlock this achievement.
Sorry about the scary voice. It just kind of comes with the look.
The area isn't that big. It's significantly smaller than the area from the first game, so finding the 3 parts really wasn't that difficult. It certainly wasn't as challenging as finding all of the postcards from the first game, especially since there's only 3 of them. And after you find all 3 parts, you then unlock the ability to make Monster Mater, and this one's way easier because you're given a metal detector because the Mater parts are buried for some reason. You basically push a button, the metal detector will beep, you follow the arrow on the screen, and once you are in proximity to the part, you hit another button and it unearths that part. Once you find all parts for Monster Mater, you unlock Build Monster Mater to find all parts to construct Monster Mater. You then unlock the monster truck races. You will also unlock the Ghost Light minigame, which is basically this minigame where your controls are reversed, so it's like driving in reverse, but you're trying to scare Mater back to his house because he's been out tractor tipping. The events in this one are more varied, but the way they kind of shoehorn a reason into why you're doing it is stretched at best, but it at least gives you something more to do than race around. Once you complete all 7 Ghosting Mater missions, you unlock Ghost Light.
Why don't you just go chase somebody else? Ah! This truck is clean.
So we then come to the worst thing in this game, and that is the tractor tipping, where you drive around as, where you sneak around as Mater and tip tractors, all the while avoiding Frank, the Combine. The tractor tipping really wasn't anything until the final 2. There are 8 levels in the tractor tipping minigame, and the 7th level in particular is probably the most bullshit. In the minigame, they've added a new mechanic where if you roll on gravel, it angers Frank more. So if you drive slowly on the gravel, you can avoid doing that. And in the 7th level, they have gravel everywhere, and it seems that the hitbox on the gravel is further than the actual graphic of the gravel itself. Because there are times where you'll just be driving on grass and you can hear the gravel sound effect, but you're nowhere near the damn gravel. There's a point where you have to drive a fair, decent distance on gravel. When you've wasted that on something that was not gravel to begin with and it causes you to lose, that's just a little bit frustrating. At the end of the 7th stage, there's a part where you're supposed to hide in an alcove and wait for Frank to drive up and cut grass that's blocking your path to the final tractor. Well, what happened to me twice is that when I pulled into the alcove, Frank spotted me for some reason. When I did it the last time, I did exactly the same thing that got me spotted the other 2 times, but for whatever reason, it worked this time. So it just seemed that this mode, that level in particular, was a little janky. The tractor tipping is the worst part of the game, but once you complete all 8 mini games within the tractor tipping set, you unlock Frank Slash. So what I meant when I said the tractor tipping is the worst thing in the game, what I actually meant is that the monster truck races were the worst thing in the game. So with the monster truck races, they are checkpoint races that require you to drive off-road. The thing is that the monster truck's physics do not handle well off-road. These mini games are inherently broken. What I had happen frequently is that I would hit the slightest bump and it would cause me to careen into a nearby object. Or I would go to stop, and what would happen is two things. I would not just stop. I would either not stop or would come to a screeching halt. There was no middle ground. It was either go or none. These were just frustrating. The second part in Ornament Valley are the most broken because you're driving on sand dunes and like I said, it just does not handle well off-road. But when you complete all of the Monster Truck Waypoint races, you unlock the James P. Sullivan Cup because James P. Sullivan is a monster truck. But other than the tractor tipping minigame and the monster truck checkpoint race minigame, everything else in the game was fine and actually enjoyable. I then unlocked Find All Paint Jobs, which was gained by, you guessed it, getting all of the paint jobs for Lightning McQueen. So I actually did this without a guide. I think there's only 8 spray cans that you have to collect. They're kind of obvious, and I'll give the game further credit. The draw distance is actually pretty good for a game from 2007. Yeah, I didn't have any issues finding the paint jobs. I actually, when I found my last one and popped the achievement, was not expecting it to be the last one. After that, I then unlocked Win All Road Races, which is to win all 9 road races. There are 3 in each area. There's 3 in Radiator Springs, Ornament Valley, and Tailfin Pass. And once you beat all 3 of those, you'll unlock this achievement. I then got Race and Chase Victor, which is to complete all 9 levels of Doc and the Law's Race and Chase. So Race and Chase is just tag, and once you unlock your final boost, basically all you have to do is at the start of the race, boost into the opponent you're trying to tag, and then use B to do your tilt turn, turn around, and then drive in the opposite direction. The original description of the achievement said you had to do it without being tagged. According to the guide on trueachievements.com, they said you had to do that. I'm not really sure if you did, but that's the way I did it, just to be safe. It seemed like a weird requirement, but it really wasn't difficult to avoid the other person, or car, rather. Again, not a hard minigame, but it was something different. This is another thing where there's 3 in each area, so what's best done, like I did here, is to complete all road races and then do all of the minigames. And speaking of minigames, the next one I got is the Golden Gas Can for completing all 9 levels of Fillmore's Fuel Frenzy. So this minigame requires you to do 2 laps on each track that you're set on, and you're constantly running out of gas. You have to collect gas cans within the level to replenish your fuel in order to complete the 2 laps. The game asks you to continue doing laps to set a new record. I didn't bother doing that. It wasn't a requirement for the achievement. I just did my 2 laps and then ran out of fuel. These minigames are probably the most difficult in the game just because it's easy to miss a can. I never ran out of fuel when I wasn't actively avoiding anything, but there were times where I got pretty close to running out of fuel. I believe a child could do this, so adults like myself definitely can.
Nice fuel economy, man.
And following that, I then got Find All Wheel Sets. So each wheel set has 4 wheels because a car has 4 wheels. And I believe there's 3 wheel sets in Tailfin Pass. There are none in Radiator Springs, and no, there'd have to be 4. There are 4 wheel sets in Tailfin Pass, and there are 4 in Ornament Valley. I found everything except 2 wheels. I completed every other wheel set except for 2, and in each wheel set I was missing 1 wheel. I looked up a guide just because I could have found these final 2 wheels by driving around, just searching for them. They were in Ornament Valley, but I opted to just watch a collectible video and just get the last 2. I mean, what sort of bragging rights am I going to get for finding all of the wheels without looking at a guide? So, whatever. I had never looked at any of the paint jobs or wheels, so I don't know. I just kept Lightning's skin as what it was in the game. Who knows? Maybe they looked cool, but I never bothered checking. And after that, I then got win all stadium races for winning all 4 races in McQueen's new racing stadium. So after you complete the 3 road races in each area, you then unlock a new race in Lightning Stadium. And once you beat all levels of the mini game, I think you unlock the final road race, or the final stadium race. And once you do that, not only do you unlock win all stadium races, but if you've done everything else up to this point, got first place in every single race, completed all the levels of a mini game, found all of the collectibles, and won all of the stadium events, you will then unlock beat the game, which is to win every event, collect every Bolt banner, and earn every sticker.
Lightning, why'd you done take off all them stickers you won?
Don't worry, Mater. I put them in a safe place.
And with that, we've completed Cars Mater National. Like I said at the start, if Cars 3 had taken just a small note out of Mater National's book, it could have been a significantly better game. If they had just added a little more variety to the events in that game, not where it's just a race, but they tweaked one little aspect of it, it would have been more fun. With the Thomasville playground and just the wasted opportunity there for an actual sandbox to drive around in, all of Toy Story 3's Toy Box mode, or hell, even just the open world, quote-unquote open world. It's technically 3 different levels of Cars and now Cars Mater National. It could have been something more enjoyable, but unfortunately Cars 3 was just a grind. But we're not talking about Cars 3, we're talking about Mater National. I think Mater National was a pretty decent game. When I was looking, so when I originally started reviewing each achievement guide for the Disney-Pixar games, I saw a review on Mater National saying it was just a hollow cash grab. I think it's actually fairly decent. Playing it at a later time like this, and when it isn't a fully $60 priced game, you can kind of take it for what it is and actually enjoy it. If you're looking for another pretty decent game for Gamerscore, Mater National is pretty fun. It is the most expensive game within the Disney-Pixar games. I believe it's like $25 for a complete copy on eBay, which is kind of steep. I think it's $20 digitally on the Series X. It is one of the backwards compatible. You can get Cars 2 and Mater National on the Series X as of right now. It does have licensed songs within it, so it may not be that way forever, but if you want some easy gamer score, I highly recommend getting it and playing it. It was a fun game. Though, something that is strikingly absent from the game is Sally. Nearly every other Cars character, barring the Cars from Cars 2, is present in this game except Sally. I think it's because they couldn't afford the Porsche license for Sally. That was just crazy because Sally and Lightning are together. That's really all I gotta say about Mater National. And if you've liked the Disney-Pixar Games Challenge thus far, we've only got one left. So if you want to see me get all of the achievements in Cars Race-A-Rama, if I do, I will be the first person on TrueAchievements.com to do so. subscribe so you can check out that landmark happening. Or if you just want to see me get a tattoo, you can subscribe as well. Leave it in the comments down below if you've played Mater National and your thoughts on the game. If you've played any of the games that have been featured in the challenge thus far, leave those down in the comments as well. Other than that, leave a like and check back next time for whatever I do. Bye-bye.